friends. Once again, I'm there with you with a new topic on current status of cold chain in India. Uh, this is a part of cold chain training offered by CII Cold Chain Logistic Resource Center at NIFTEM, Kundli, Sonipat. So today I'm going to discuss about what is the current status of cold chain in India. If you look at the statistics of perishable commodities and amount of waste that is generated in India, almost one third of the fruits and vegetables are wasted, which is huge. Malnutrition and hidden hunger is the another problem. Although world has enough food for everyone, but due to poor processing and insufficient supply chain, we are unable to meet all the challenges of malnutrition and hidden hunger. If you look at India's score in Global Hunger Index, it is 27.5 in 2021 with the rank of 101 out of 116 countries. Global Hunger Index in India is decreasing, but still it is in the serious state of severity. Look at the graph. Below 9.9 it is low, 10 to 19 it is moderate, and 20 to 34 it is serious, and we are in the middle of serious. Although it is decreasing, but still lot of changes are there which we have to meet. India is producing huge amount of food. Still a substantial gap between demand and supply resulted in high amount of post-harvest losses. Annual losses in agriculture commodities is about 1 lakh crore rupees according to one of the study conducted by CFED in 2020. And it is said that it is due to improper handling of machines of harvesting, inadequate storage facilities available at the farm, packaging, transportation systems, awareness among the farmers regarding post-harvest management practices. It can be improved by appropriate post-harvest packaging and storage on the field, during transportation and storage, and by developing an appropriate cold chain from farm to the fork. Food losses also impact the environment, food quality, food safety, and food security. It also affects socio-economic development because of waste of water, energy, labor, land, and other input which are required. The carbon footprint of the food produced and not consumed. The inputs about 3.3 billion tons CO2 equivalent of greenhouse gases globally as per FAO 2015. The cold chain sector can be useful to prevent the problems of food losses. Next, geographically skewed and monocommodities. Most of the pack houses are in India, particularly operated in Maharashtra, almost 75%, and most of them are exporters. As on March 2020, total 183 of pack houses are registered under APIDA. Highest number of cold storage are in Uttar Pradesh, West Bengal, and Gujarat. Out of them, 95% are private, 3% are owned by cooperatives, and 2% by the public sector. And if you look at the commodity which are stored mainly is the potato. Potato is the single largest stored commodity in cold storage as per MOFPM. Mono commodities cold storages are 75, whereas 25% of the cold storages are meant for multi commodities. They can store more than one type of products in one unit. In this particular slide, you can see the units of cold chain infrastructure and its component. What is the current status? For example, pack house, cold storage, hub capacity, reefer transport, etc. What is required and what is existing. And in the last column, you can see the gap. So, for example, pack house 84,000 is required and only 183 is available. So, there is a gap of 99.8, almost 100%. So, there is a big gap that is to be filled in the country in the area of pack houses in cold chain infrastructure. That's how we can improve the infrastructural facility of cold chain if more pack houses are made available. Cold storage, the gap is 11.7%. In case of reefer vans, the trucks cold which can carry the material at low temperature, the gap is 71%. So in reefer vans also there is a big challenge in terms of the availability. So in this particular diagram, you can see the state-wise cold storage capacity in the country. You can see maximum number of cold storage facility are available in Uttar Pradesh, followed by West Bengal, Gujarat, Punjab, Andhra Pradesh, and so on. So Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal alone contributes more than 50%. So cold storages are mainly centered in particular locations, and that too they are mainly for the potatoes. So if you study, you'll find that most of the places where potatoes are grown, cold storage facilities have been developed, but it needs to be developed in other locations as well. Participation of farmers and cold chain users. Why farmers have not been able to participate? Here we have some of the reasons which have been surveyed and have been reported. The inadequate education and training of growers and farmers. Because farmers in India are very small in terms of the land holding, in terms of their production, in terms of the volume of the crop, and highly fragmented across geographical areas. So they are not very united, located at a single place. So that is one of the reasons. Handles cultivation, harvesting, preliminary packaging, transportation to the local mandis are consolidators. So consolidators are accountable for the physical transfer of the product from the farm to the place of consumer, maintaining the quality without causing losses and injury to the product. Both these players play a crucial role as the produce is most susceptible to damage after first few hours of harvesting. So first few hours of the harvesting is very important for the produce which are harvested from the farm. So there we need that the farmer should have proper skill and knowledge about the further processing and transportation of the product. Technologies are developed, but they are not properly propagated to root level of the farmers. Improper collaboration planning and compatibility of the partners. Cold chain includes a set of interdependent companies that work closely together to manage the flow of goods or services, information, and funds to recognize superior customer values at the lowest possible cost. These are the various components which needs to be integrated for cold chain. There is a need to bring together the numerous loosely integrated players like seed companies, farmers, cooperatives, third-party logistic providers, educational institutions, commodities, value-added producers, and finally the customers. Improper tracing. This is very underlooked component of the cold chain. It's a major hurdle in the cold chain development. When, where, and under what condition a product is transported, these type of information should be traceable. Skill gap in specific profiles like refrigerated trucks, drivers, loading supervisors, cold storage managers are required. Creation of robust institutional framework for creating logistic manpower, creation of incentives for development of skills for cold storage and transportation employees, and undertaking of initiatives to uplift the image of the cold chain industry is required. Environmental and social factor of cold chain. Environmental factors, if we talk about, issue of environmental awareness is revolving at every stage of life. All the stakeholders should be familiar to environmental factor to develop a healthy, ecologically, economically and socially healthy environment. Some important environmental factors to resolve in cold chain are proper disposal and utilization of waste, improving utilization of resources, moving towards green technologies, environmental friendly and recyclable packaging, use of low GWP global warming potential and ODP refrigerants, etc. Life cycle assessment, commonly called LCA, is used to find out environmental impact of a service or product over its lifetime, such as raw material produced, purchased, processed, distribution, use and disposal. What is the life cycle? This methodology is later standardized by ISO 14040, which combines input and output of the waste and chemical to air, water and soil. With different environmental categories like human health, global warming, ecosystem, services, resource depletions, etc. Some success factors that can be used to measure the effectiveness of environmental policies are amount of energy and raw material spent. How much amount of energy and raw material is spent? Amount of waste that is produced and exposed to the nature. Amount of hazardous material used in the production process of goods and products. Amount of fuel uses and gas emission in the production, storage and transportation. Amount of recycled material through the processes. Number of partnerships with suppliers on the area of environmental awareness, and level of reputation of the company in terms of environmental sensitivity in front of the public eye. Then we also have some social factors associated with cold chain. For example, consumers always have questions about where, by whom, and under what conditions their products are being sourced and produced. Consumers are willing to know it. In economic theory, transparency is a key factor for stakeholders to create incentives and align their practices with the priorities of the public. Social LCA intends to add in critical indicators of human well-being that are influenced by processes of our companies in supply chain, such as workers' rights, community development, consumer protections, and societal benefits, etc. Because of changes in customer demands and expectations, supply chain are exposed to new challenges and must adapt to new circumstances with the help of new technologies and innovations. Therefore, supply chain improvement is seen as an essential part of the business objectives, enabling companies to be more customer centric and respond quickly to changing demands and needs. Here we have categorized social factors and the factors. For example, under workers or labor categories, the factors which are important are child labor, fair salary, working hours, forced labors, equal opportunities, health and safety, social benefits which the workers get, and their social security. These are the factors which are related to the workers. Then some factors which are related to the consumers which are important in cold chain are health and safety, feedback mechanisms, consumer privacy, transparency, etc. Then some factors related to local community, for example, access to resources, delocalization and migrations, cultural heritage, safe and healthy living conditions, respect of indigenous rights, community engagement, secure living conditions, etc. Some factors related to societies could be public commitment to sustainability issues, contributions to economic development, technology development, prevention and mitigation of armed conflicts, corruptions. Other factors related to stakeholders could be fair competitions, promoting social responsibilities, supplier relationships, etc. So these are the list of factors which are related to social relevance of the cold chain. So thank you very much. In today's lecture, we have discussed about various issues related to cold chain. What is the current status? What are the social and environmental points related to cold chain? So this is all for this lecture. Thank you so much.